Hi everyone! Welcome back. Thank you for joining me for the second part of our Carnivorous plant video series. For those of you who may not have seen our first video, my name is Kelsey and I'm an AmeriCorps service member at the Coastal Land Trust. In our last video, we learned about the unique ecosystem of Wilmington and why it is conducive to the growth of carnivorous plants. We ended the last session on an activity called Believe It or Not. Have you been wondering which plants from that activity were real and which were made up? Well, I'll give you the answers here in just a second. The plants that were imaginary were the hummer plant, the angler plant, glider plant, and the checkmate. The plants that are real are the butterwort, Venus flytrap, ladderwort, sundew, and the pitcher plant. Now that we are familiar with each of these different plants, let's get an up-close look at them. Before we start looking, there is a downloadable observation chart online, which you can copy on a piece of paper and fill out, or if you are able to, you can print it out and follow along. So come with me, let's go look at these plants. I have a few different carnivorous plants to show you today. Let's take a closer look. What do you think this first plant is? I bet you're an expert now. This one is a pitcher plant. Pitcher plants come in all different sizes. This one is a little on the smaller side. At Stanley Reader Carnivorous Plant Garden, you can find pitcher plants of all different sizes and shapes. There are some that can grow to be over a foot tall. They range in color from yellow to red to green and can also be a mixture of any of those colors. There are hairs inside the pitcher plant that face downward, making it hard for prey to climb back up. Let's see what our next plant is. But everyone knows what plant this one is. This is the famous Venus flytrap, probably the most widely known of the carnivorous plants. Flytraps can also come in a variety of colors. Some morphs have dark red on the inside of their leaves, while others are green. This one has a mixture. You can see there's one that's green on the inside of its leaves, and this one right next to it is red. What we call the traps or the mouths of the Venus flytrap are actually modified leaves. Inside each of these modified leaves are 6 trigger hairs, all waiting to be triggered by an unsuspecting prey. Once an insect is captured, digestion takes place inside of the closed trap for a week or two. The traps prefer warm weather and are most active during the summer months when there's plenty of light and insects to eat. This trap is very happy and growing a flower stalk. You can see how far away the flower stalk is from the rest of the plant. This is so that insects that come to pollinate the flower do not get eaten by the trap itself. I've got one more plant to show you today. This last plant is my favorite of the carnivorous plants. This one is the sundew. This plant has sparkly looking dewdrops on the end of hair-like cilia. These drops actually are sticky, and they are the plant's digestive enzymes. When a bug gets stuck in the droplets, the leaf rolls into itself to consume all of the bug's nutrients. There are varieties of sundews that have broad, spoon-like leaves such as this one, and others that have long, slender tentacle leaves. Plants, unlike animals, can achieve the energy portion of their food requirement on their own through a process known as photosynthesis. During photosynthesis, plants use the energy of the sun to make their own food. Photosynthesis occurs in the plant's leaves. Put simply, photosynthesis is how plants eat. Let's test your knowledge with a true or false question. True or false? Carnivorous plants use photosynthesis. It's true. They use it in addition to consuming insects. We've learned so far that carnivorous plants obtain their food in other ways than just from photosynthesis. There is a downloadable coloring sheet that will help illustrate how photosynthesis works. In addition to energy, plants need nutrients. Usually, plants obtain nutrients from the soil. They put down roots into the soil to draw up nutrients, which help the plant grow, and to also draw up water to cool it. This water eventually reaches the stem and leaves, where it is either used or returned to the air in a process known as transpiration, which is essentially evaporation from plant leaves. Since the Venus flytrap lives in boggy, nutrient-poor environments, it cannot get many nutrients from the soil. So, over generations, the species has adapted to eat insects as a way of getting its required nutrients and energy. The modified leaves or traps of the Venus flytrap allow it to supplement its diet with animal proteins. Carnivorous plants can eat a variety of prey. Take a moment to write down what you think are some of the things a carnivorous plant might eat. Carnivorous plants have a diet that consists of a variety of bugs. Here's a breakdown of what carnivorous plants eat. Flies are the typical response, but their diet is actually 33% ants, 30% spiders, 10% beetles, 10% grasshoppers, 5% flying insects, and 12% being other things, such as crickets, millipedes, pillbugs, and slugs. Another fun fact about the Venus flytrap is that each trap can snap shut 4 or 5 times before it dies, whether it has successfully caught something or not. If it is always successful, the trap may only work as little as 2 to 3 times. Here's a question for you. Why do you think the Venus flytrap is selective in the prey that it catches? The main reason is due to the amount of energy it takes for the trap to close and digest its prey. How would you like to spend hours catching bugs but never actually capture one? This is the same logic a Venus flytrap uses. That's all for today's lesson on carnivorous plants. Thank you for listening. There are more videos and activities online if you would like to keep learning more about carnivorous plants. Thanks, bye!